Hey guys, welcome to the weekly bump. Thanks so much for being here and hanging out with me. So, Europe coming up November through December. We'll see how that goes. I have the information on the website, so if you're interested in attending, it's not like an official ticketing system. So, there will be like personalized communications that I'll send out to each people who register in each city. So just stay tuned. If you don't get the email when you purchase it, I'll just contact me, let me know, and I'll make sure that you're definitely on the list, okay? So that's that. We're in Virgo season. We're like coming to the last 10 degrees. Right now we've got the sun at 20 degrees of Virgo. So we're finishing up this season, making our way into Libra season. And I think this season has been kind of scattered, and it's been so different for everybody. I've been hearing all different kinds of stories. Sometimes we get really all in sync and we all kind of feel the same kind of things, but there's just a lot of different kind of channels of things. So we'll talk about it when we get to the stars. The first card that came out is the Six of Wands, which we love. A Six of Wands. It is one of triumph, victory, success, all these really wonderful things. And it's a time when our ideas start coming to light and we start to express them, and other people seem to be on board. This card, if nothing else, is about other people supporting you, other people celebrating you, being on your side. Sometimes we feel like the world is against us. We have sometimes some difficult streaks where it's just kind of one difficult thing after the next. But no matter what you're going through, no matter how easy your life is right now or how difficult your life is right now, the fact of the matter is that you've got people in your corner who are cheering you on. So whether you're looking for a new career, whether you are trying to get into a relationship, or whether you're starting out fresh, there are people there for you, 100%. There is instability in the air right now, that's for sure. Okay, Four of Wands reversed. The instability of the not knowing, and Neptune has such a huge part in that. The sun opposing Neptune has been an interesting one for me personally, and probably for you guys too. There's that question of like, where am I going? What am I doing with my life? All these big existential crises type questions. It's very, very common this time of year and also during March. And if you think back to what you were doing in March, it's possible that you're kind of mirroring some of those same energies. The King of Swords reversed. Oh man, I don't like a King of Swords reversed. I really, really don't. I can handle a King of Wands and I can handle a King of Pentacles, but this one gets really sharp. And you could be dealing with a difficult personality or someone that first of all, there's an ego at play anytime we get a king or any of the royal cards reversed. There is someone who thinks they know better, right? Who is intellectually superior. There is someone who feels that their cause is more important and therefore yours is not necessarily worth their time or worth their energy or worth their effort. Some of you may be dealing with difficult partners, siblings, coworkers, bosses, or it could be a version of yourself as well. It's the part of yourself that works against yourself. It's the fearful part, the one that's not afraid to step out of the comfort zone. See, the kings represent fixed energies, fixed masculine energies. And it's the doing part that can be hard sometimes. We can talk about it all day long. Sometimes we can talk people in circles of what's right and philosophically what makes the most sense for the goodness of humanity. And, we can do this spiel all day long. But when it comes to putting your money where your mouth is, a King of Swords is not the best supporting energy for that. So maybe that's what you're really being called to do. Being called to put your money where your mouth is. People support you, right? I'm sure they agree with you. I'm sure on some level you are speaking many, many truths. But now it's really time for you to act. And then we get the King of Cups upright. Maybe that's you. Maybe that's also another person that you're dealing with. This is the heart. So we get the mind and the heart within yourself, perhaps. I know I'm speaking generically. And then we have the Hanged Man, which doesn't surprise me with the Neptune Sun opposition thing that we just went through. And we're still going through it. Technically, the Sun is still opposing Neptune. We've got Mercury opposing Neptune right now. We've got Chiron making its way back into Pisces right now. So there is a lot of Piscean, Neptunian qualities that are kind of creeping in. And I think in some way it's kind of a drag for me. It's been a little bit of a drag because I've really had to confront my fears like head on, and my question of like, oh no, you wouldn't be, no one would listen to you, it wouldn't be worth going, or people wouldn't be interested in that, or they don't care what you have to say, or those kinds of negative thoughts, those kind of negative fears that do creep in. But right now, it's not a time for that. It's a time for leading with your heart, as we see with the King of Cups. Now, if you're dealing with two different people, like if these aren't you and you're just totally fine and perfectly normal, you may be dealing with a variety of different people. It's so important that you keep in mind that everyone is really experiencing the energy it's like a high contrast time of year. There are people who are really productive this time of year, who put their head down, who go to work. And then there are people who like beat themselves up because they're not really they don't like working at this pace. They don't like being slower. They don't like being meticulous. And yet there's this pull to do that. And then there's the confusion stuff. So people are just a little disoriented and discombobulated, especially if you're dealing with people who aren't very conscious and who aren't very aware of themselves, and who aren't very aware of how their actions and words really impact others and impact the world. And when we get the Page of Swords, he indicates my student, and Virgo is also a very good student in the zodiac as well. And it's possible that some of you may be undertaking some educational kind of things, whether it's just reading a new kind of book or watching a new couple documentaries on Netflix or on YouTube or something. And there's this curiosity about us too, curiosity about whatever, enhancing our minds is very important. But at the same time, don't forget, oh, sorry, I picked up the wrong one. But at the same time, don't forget that you are leading with your heart too. Now, if you find that your mind is what's getting in the way, right, your fears and all of that is becoming a problem, the best way to break through those kinds of barriers is through educating yourself so that you can become more empowered, so that you can become better armed with the intellectual weapons that you need to go out and do what you got to do. But see, even with kind of this restlessness, we have the Mars-Uranus square that's going on too. So even with this kind of restlessness, we are still in this let's wait and see what happens. That's one of the hardest things with my private readings that I've been doing lately too, is just having to tell people to just wait and see, let things pan out, let things unfold like the blossoming of a rose. And eventually the time will come when you feel really sure and really certain as to what needs to be done and what needs to be said and how you can go about doing things. I think the plan right now is a little like, I know where I want to go. I don't really quite see the steps. And maybe it's such a grandiose idea that we're having a hard time like putting together, like connecting the dots, right? With the Neptunian influence, there's a dream state quality as well. We can't forget that, the impact of dreams. And we are going to be receiving messages from other dimensional entities right now. Be sure to meditate, because you probably will be able to have powerful meditations. You will connect with your guides. You will understand what they say. You'll be able to interpret what they say, and you'll be able to interpret what your intuition is really saying, which is one of the hardest things for a lot of people to do is, okay, well, I'm feeling a certain way, and this is what it means, and this is how I go about acting upon that. So when we get the Chariot card, it's always an indication that we are on our life path, and that wherever it is we are, as suspended and weird and confused as it may seem, we are still in fact operating at full capacity. We are doing what we are supposed to be doing. Heart first, but not clumsily. Four of Cups is a mature emotional state. It's detached from the emotion, understanding the emotion, but using the emotion as a tool to charge forward. Now is a time, again, so these are contradictory in nature. There's go, 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 wait, wait, wait. But the waiting is a part of it, unfortunately. The stagnation is a part of it. And in spite of feeling like nothing's happening, that's actually quite the opposite. It is important for us to establish peace within ourselves, as we see with Temperance. See, here's also even movement as well, as complemented with the Chariot. We're moving, we just can't feel it. We can't see it. And things are going to start barreling towards us as we make our way into this Venus retrograde, which I'll talk about in just a minute. There's going to be things that will surface within our own deep, dark psyche, and will be exposed between people. That is going to be the information that we'll need. And some of us, it's not really going to be what we want, but it is going to be the push we need to get out the door, to put this kind of fearful side, this kind of side that's trying to convince us that we're not smart enough, good enough, talented enough, ready enough, or whatever it is, to give this guy the boot and to say, forget it, I'm going to just do it anyway, and I am going to be fearless. See, the reason why I like the King of Cups is because he is the representative of the Scorpio archetype. And when we think of Scorpio, we think of a Mars and Pluto rulership. And Mars is our warrior. Pluto is also extraordinarily powerful. He is just, right? He works with justice hand in hand. He wants things to be good. He wants things to be fair. And he's also not afraid to do what it takes to make things that way. So if it's a career change that you're needing, if it's a new, entirely new life path, because whatever we were doing before just really quite isn't living up to your expectation, now it's a time for you to just go take it, right? To go take your dreams. Take your dreams and manifest them into a reality. So one of the reasons why it's so strange is because of the Pisces, the Chiron going back into Pisces. For me, I'm just going to talk about how it's manifested for me, because I haven't really had a chance to really connect with a lot of people and have a lot of one-on-one conversations. And for me, it's brought up some of the emotional stuff that I thought I was like totally over. But what's good about it is that I feel like an observer of those things for the first time really ever. Sometimes we can say all these amazing things and we can say all the right things, but it's kind of one of those, you got to practice what you preach. And for the first time, I can look at the issues that I've been really dealing with and say, okay, that's who I was. It's not who I am anymore. And it is really a matter of choice. And this can control me or not. And I choose not. So it is a more empowered place. It is giving us the opportunity to wrap up loose ends, right? To set those boundaries, because I think that a lot of people had boundary issues over the past decade. We got into really weird relationships, Uranus coming through Aries, and it was like, who am I? And I've said it so many times before, Uranus comes and fragments our sense of self into a million different directions. So it's about reassembling, and now is an opportunity to say, we have reassembled. Let me prove it. And we gotta kind of prove it to other people and prove it to ourselves. It's possible that we have things coming up that remind us of past patterns, past addictions. There's the same temptations that we had in the past are like staring at us right in the face. And now is the time to put our foot down and say, nope, never, ever again. And some of us might make a couple mistakes, and that's fine. We may revert back into some kind of past behavior. As long as we don't sink back or start drowning backwards, I think we'll all be fine. And it really is forcing us to take a hold of this understanding that we've acquired of who we are and what we're really capable of. What else do we have going on? Yes, so the Neptune Sun opposition. For me, that really hit me in terms of my materialism, which you guys know has been a thing for me for like forever. Thinking about materialism, thinking about money. I'm deep into like 3 books right now. Martin Luther King, Where Do We Go From Here? I've got this one that was given to me by a friend. It's called More Together Than Alone. And then I'm also reading a Michael Tellinger Ubuntu book just to kind of see what that's all about. So materialism, money, the purpose of money in this world and how to really break free from that has really been at the forefront of my mind. I know that a lot of people had a lot of confusion. Maybe a friend deceived them, like there was some weird deception. Maybe someone lied to them or tried to pull the wool out from under them, tried to pull some kind of shady antics. That's always very common with a Neptunian transit as well. Sometimes we do that to ourselves. So, if you did have to deal with that, that is a message, that is a lesson for you to learn how to set those boundaries. Those psychological, energetic, and spiritual boundaries are so important. With the Mercury-Neptune opposition as well. Again, the dream states that I talked about, connection, this dream. I had this meditation. I'm not going to really talk too much about it because I think it needs to evolve a little bit more. But I actually got kicked out of it, and I've heard of this happening where something really profound happens during a meditation, and like for me, I woke up and I had this really sharp kind of cramp in my chest, and I was like, and it just pulled me out of that meditation so fast, and I couldn't get back to it. And it's kind of, for me, it felt like I was being prepared for something, but I'm just not quite ready yet. It's like, this is what's waiting for you, I've got the moon in Scorpio today, Venus in Scorpio, Jupiter in Scorpio. So yes, we have the depth of Scorpio, which some of us really don't like. And we have Uranus opposing Venus right now as well. Interesting things with relationships. People could either fall really hard for someone, or there could be a fight of some kind, or a breakup, or a get together, or maybe there could just be some kind of an epiphany about relationships for you in your life. It could be something to do with your value system as well. It doesn't have to be with anyone else. It can be like, my standards, this is what I believe. This is how I want to operate in my world. And just, a revision to that, which is always great. Some kind of a little oomph, making yourself a little bit better, which is good. And then kind of all the other things, that we have had been going on for a while. Saturn squaring with Chiron. That's the boundary setting, right? That's the power and the self-empowerment to set those boundaries, the self-empowerment to heal, where Saturn is very much on our side. What did I say about cheerleaders? If anyone's on our side, it's Saturn. We do kind of give him a little bit of a bad rap because he does make things a little bit more restrained and restricted and difficult, and he presents us with our limits, but we have to be grateful for that too, because that's how we learn. And I think this is the time when we are able to say, hey, Master, I've learned, and we're now able to put that into practice. And he's like, go for it, And I love Saturn when he's positively manifested, because it gives us more control. It does give us that 4 of Cups sort of detachment from everything, which in essence is the definition of freedom, right? It's not that you don't own anything, it's that nothing owns you. That's what freedom is. That's what true liberation is. And that's really what Saturn brings to the table. If you learn the lessons, if you don't, you'll just keep doing it over and over until you figure it out. And then we have Mars, beautiful Mars, making his way back through Aquarius. And this is really enhancing our humanitarianism. I've seen that across the board with my private readings. People who are coming to me and being like, what's my contribution to this world? What is my life purpose? And how do I give back? How do I take my talents and apply them in a way that's going to make an impact in the world? And with so many people who are asking this question, there is no doubt in my mind that they're going to come to some kind of solution. They're going to come to some idea of how to do this, and they're actually going to start doing it. Not only do we have Mars in Aquarius, but after that, he's going to be in Pisces. So there is going to be that spirituality component as well, taking it from the globe to the cosmos, taking it all the way out to the universal oneness, back to the singularity, and to the Christ consciousness. So, I mean, this is going to be an ongoing theme for the next 4 or 5 months. And then when he hits Aries, we're going to have that opportunity to implement and to do everything that we need to do, which is going to be a really exciting time, because I think people are going to feel truly empowered and truly armed with what they need. And what is this all about, right? Arming ourselves with knowledge, arming ourselves with education. Pick up that book if you want to learn that. Watch that video if you want to learn that. I highly recommend entertaining yourself with education right now whenever this comes out. Also, my Page of Pentacles, there's always an education component. So, God, I have to tell you, I had a string of people that I dated for a while who would always say something dumb like, oh, I hate reading. Reading is so boring. And it's like the biggest turnoff, right? Like, how can you say you hate reading and then you just sit and watch sports all day? Like, that's the worst thing ever. Let's not be like that. Let's not turn our back on the freedom to educate ourselves, which is like the first time in human history that we've ever had the opportunity to do that, right? Let's not do that. So yeah, I'm going to leave you guys with that. We'll keep it short and sweet this week. Information about the European tour on my website. And that's it. Thanks so much. Take care, guys. Bye.